This Saturday, talkSPORT brings you exclusive commentary of KSI versus Tommy Fury live from the Manchester Arena. Our team on the night includes presenters Adam Catterall, Gareth A. Davies, commentator Andy Clark, former super bantamweight champion Spencer Oliver. And don't forget, if you head over to the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, you can follow all the action in the build-up to the fight. KSI against Tommy Fury is live and exclusive and free to listen to on Saturday right here on talkSPORT. Anyone who's watched the documentary, have you seen it? The Tyson Fury documentary on Netflix?
Not yet,
right,
to be honest.
It's actually really good. It's one of those things that I don't really sort of get into, but I was coming in, Mrs. Matthews was I was sort of watching it, keeping an eye on it, and I became addicted to it because they are quite a fascinating family, and he is quite engaging, and he's obviously, he's had his mental health problems and he's had his issues, but he is very sort of alluring when you're listening to him talk and watching him go through it. There's a couple of episodes where Tommy Fury almost takes centre stage, and he is going out to fight. It was a couple of years ago. You might remember where there was an argument about whether he made the weight or didn't make the weight, and then he has to fight somebody else in the last minute. It doesn't quite work out for him, and it hasn't really taken off for him as a result. It was interesting listening to him and his discussions with his fiancée at the time, Molly May, and they're discussing how he's feeling going into fight camp and how he wants to be the best version of himself and wants to sort of live up to the Fury name. It's interesting that he's taken this sort of route to get involved in these sort of misfit series. And he's finally facing off with KSI this weekend at the AO Arena in Manchester in the cruiserweight division for the MFB Championship. To explain more, let's go live now to Manchester and deal with our team, Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davies. They are right outside, right side or the inside the MEN right now. Hello, boys.
Sam, how you doing?
Afternoon.
Set the scene. Where are you? What's happening?
Well, set the scene.
Tell the story.
Shall I tell the story? So we got
a
train up here this morning at 9:33. The train was due in at 11:45. We got here about 11:50. We've just jumped into a taxi and we are sitting in these seats. We've been here for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I made a little sprint to the door. Gareth A. Davies didn't.
No.
I'm not sure why. I don't know if he's in shape. I don't know if he's up to that, but we're here. We're live.
I'd lost the will to live.
This event.
Listen, don't talk to us about trains and issues with transport because we know we feel your pain. Let's just leave it there. Who's going to be feeling pain on Saturday night?
Well, obviously, look, Tommy Fury is a massive favourite in this fight. He's bigger, he's more experienced, he's from 10 generations of bare-knuckle fighters. He's a massive favourite with the bookies. But all the way up, we were doing our own straw poll with everyone who's talking about this event. And KSI is so well known, and everyone believes in him. They're all saying that KSI is going to win. This is just fans in the street and people on the train. And Bryce Hall, one of Logan Paul's friends, who's on the train, he's got 6.5 million followers, and he's going to be on the Misfits cards very soon. They all believe that KSI is like a god to this. So that all the jeopardy's on Tommy Fury. And in fact, he's got to go out there and make a statement against KSI.
Absolutely. You say he's a massive favourite, but do you know what? I don't think he's that big a favourite, if I'm totally honest. KSI he's got some serious drive in him, and when you look at the fight, if you use as a comparison, you use Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul out in Saudi Arabia, and you saw that fight. That was entertaining, and that was quite competitive as well. I think that KSI is going to bring it here, and Gareth's right in what he says is there's so much pressure on KSI's shoulders, but he's the type of guy that feeds off that sort of pressure. He's got a cult following, a huge following, 50 million followers plus. They all believe in him. They all think he's going to win, and I think that sort of drive is going to make this fight a lot closer than people would say, because Tommy Fury is the guy that comes from the boxing background, as Gareth says. He's the guy with the history, the Fury name's on the line. That's a lot of pressure on its own, but KSI is a kid that has had a lot of drive, and he's got some talent as well.
And the other thing about KSI, Sam, is that everything he touches seems to turn to gold. He doesn't know the meaning of failure. He's transformed his shape physically extraordinarily as well. I think what will happen in the actual fight is that he will burst out there. He's a very aggressive come-forward fighter, and I think he will get caught by Tommy Fury on the counter. They'll have worked on that. I think Tommy Fury should be going out there and trying to make a statement to stop him, and he should do it in about 4 rounds. It's a 3-minute rounds, of course. But I think KSI will get put into his shell after a couple of rounds, and I think Tommy will probably stay behind the jab and may even play it safe, because he's looking at that second fight with Jake Paul as well.
Spencer, you said that there's a lot of pressure on KSI's shoulders. Surely it's the other way around, isn't it? I mean, what would it mean for Tommy Fury's career if he was to lose this?
Absolutely. Listen, when I said a lot of pressure on KSI's shoulders, what I said was he's the type of guy that feeds off that pressure. He wants that pressure, but it's a different pressure from Tommy Fury, and on his side, you know, with Tyson, the family.
He's got to win.
Family and everything
He's
else.
He's got to win, hasn't he?
He has to win.
Yeah.
There is a different type of pressure on him, a huge type of pressure that brings out the nerves in fighters, and it's how he controls those nerves. It's a huge
Tyson
platform
Fury's coming on the night. It's going to be there the day before he leaves for Riyadh. It's all this. There is enormous pressure. John Fury's there. Look at him yesterday, throwing bottles at KSI, bottles of water. KSI spitting on him at the media workouts. John Fury is a big pressure on Tommy Fury. So he's a great asset as well. He sells him. But I'm doing a Spencer Oliver this morning. I've got off the train. I've had 4 coffees. Jeez. I can't stop myself.
I'm starting to worry whether or not you're getting a little bit sort of too into it. Maybe it feels a little bit, even the build-up with you two sitting there all caffeined up to the max, feels a little bit WWE. And I wonder whether or not, you know...
It is very WWE.
I was going to say, is that where we're heading with this? Because ultimately, if you're a boxing purist, you're not necessarily as subscribed to KSI versus Tommy Fury as you would be some of the other big fights. But with Francis Ngannou going to meet Tyson Fury in the next couple of weeks or so, is this where we are with boxing? Are we trying to move it into an entertainment zone?
No, you've got to understand that this is something totally different. Yeah, entertainment value, this is absolutely huge. Yes, WWE/boxing/entertainment. That's what we've got here, right? There's a different demographic, a different audience that watch this one. And it is, from the entertainment value, it is brilliant. It really is. Like, you know, and like I say, the audience there will be huge, absolutely huge. But don't mix it up with professional boxing and with what we're going to get on Saturday night. And then you're going to ask me the question, well, where does Tommy Fury fall into that? Is he a YouTube boxer? Is he a professional boxer?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the answer is he's a professional boxer, and you know the history of him, that's where he comes from. But from the business point of view, he's recognised that he's huge in that world as well, the influencer world, Love Island 2019, and he's grown and built a huge audience, and he recognises from a business point of view, this is where the money's at.
This is
where he's earning a lot of money.
He's the right guy in the right place at the right time. Any other boxer, Idris Virgo, who's a pure boxer, has come into the Misfits. And I did an interview with him a couple of weeks ago, and he said, you know, I'm down on the undercard at the York Hall, and there's 14 people in there when I walk out. When I fight on Misfits now, and he's fought on a couple of Misfits, he said there's 10,000 people in the arena the whole time, from 7 in the evening till 11 at night. Mm-hmm. It's supported in a different way. My sponsors feel differently about it. We are going through a paradigm shift in that way. And when you mention Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou, of course it's not the undisputed heavyweight title going down, which we'll see either later this year or early next year with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. But it's still an event, an entertainment event, and there's in boxing, in fight sports, there's always been crossovers that have drawn the attention of people that scream fight in the corner and get the eyeballs on it. You know, Muhammad Ali was going to fight Wilt Chamberlain years ago, the 7-foot-tall basketball player. There's famous photographs out of there. He fought Antonio Inoki in Japan, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Late on in his career in the 70s. It was a disaster, but and you know the normally quiet and articulate Japanese fans with a ripple of applause at the end of every round left all their popcorn and food and drinks scattered all over the seats because they were unhappy about it, because Ali danced around for 12 rounds and Inoki kicked his legs from lying on the ground. You do get there's always freak shows in fight sports. And this is one of those freak shows in a weird way. Tommy Fury and Jake Paul, I think, did 600,000 pay-per-view buys earlier in the year. You were out there. Adam and I, Catterall and I, were back in the studio. It is a modern phenomena that YouTubers, influencers have taken to boxing. Tommy Fury just happens to be from the Fury family, made his fame on Love Island, handsome young kid, and he's just there. He's got baby Bambi, Molly May, and he'll never, in my view, fight for the British, European and world titles in pro boxing.
But he will make a lot of money out of this, and he's in great shape as well, hasn't he? He's gone through a 9-week transformation. He looks cut to ribbons, and I'm sure we'll see more of him over the course of the next 24 hours.